swear I thought 2018 was my year, yo. I've been going through it. How was y'all 2018 been?
It's good.
How y'all been dealing with it?
Ups and downs.
Ups and downs for sure. I'm real. You said what?
Congrats.
You did get married. Somebody's a white tea. Somebody's a white tea. You already know.
Oh, and congratulations.
Right.
We got all the engagement. Can we get some of that energy?
Somebody here is next.
I'm not gonna say it, but I don't know who he's gonna be.
Just send me all the energy, please.
But I mean, it's good to know that there are some positive things that's been taking place this year. But I do have to ask, let's be real. What are some pits that you guys have been dealing with this year or are currently dealing with? Because I know for me, your girl got a degree and all, but I actually got let go from my little 9 to 5, so I'm unemployed. I'm just chilling. But it's gonna be all right, real niggas, do real things. So what about you?
One pit for me this year, or if I say in life in general, will be education. I got a degree, but going back to school was challenging. Like I stopped going to school, and then I went back to it and got my up to my bachelor's, and now getting accepted to get my master's and just not going to school to get it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a challenge because if I'm going to school, I'm not making the money, but I'm paying them 20 to 40,000 versus making 20 to 40,000. So it's kind of like that's something that's always like a curve where it's kind of like I feel like it's a setup. Education is good because our culture. We we'll be the first millionaires, right? You know what I mean? Versus like our kids can just do what they want to do. Like, try it out. You can mess it up. My daddy got you. And it's kind of like that's just been a pit for me and my challenge with being a father and being an entrepreneur is that I got to educate myself because that's the key to everything. But do I want to go to college or how do I do it? So just finding that different way without having to go get a master's. Because that's really just for.
It seems like you said you learn more on your own though.
Yeah, they got YouTube.
Research.
Well,
But that's self-discipline and something.
but I have to contradict you though because I'm getting my master's too, and I will say that this is like my pick too because to have to reprogram yourself to say like I'm going back to school, and then also like just the transition of being parents and working like being an entrepreneur and like having legit income, and it's just. You have to now say, okay, now I'm going to commit my time to also. It's hard. It is hard. So I'm in the same boat. But, it's a beautiful pit though.
Yeah.
The
other side is
in 2 years, once we get out the pit, what happens?
What about this side?
Top of the hill.
You said about this side?
Yeah, what about this side?
One thing for me has been like fear. I feel like you know that you're gonna go through ups and downs in this journey, but it's hard when you get to one of those downs. Like when you get to a place where you think you've gotten out of like financial struggle, and then something happens where you back in it, and you like, oh shit, I thought I was never gonna end up in this place again, and then you get like in that fearful mode. And I feel like when I become fearful, I become kind of stagnant, and I lose I kind of lose my vision because it's just like you kind of feel like your back is against the wall.
Right.
So. Yeah, and I try to just remotivate myself. Like for me, like music is one of those things. Like I'll go listen to some Nipsey real quick and be like, remember, okay, this is part of the process. So either you're gonna be a little bitch, or you're gonna prosper, you're gonna figure a way out of it.
That's why I always say, it's cool for 15 minutes, you cry, you kick, you scream, but after that 15 minutes is up, now keep it pushing, on to the next. Don't be defeated. Whatever you do, never be defeated. But you can cry, let it out, because I know I've been crying. I've been crying. Let it out. Seriously though, real serious. But.
I'll say the pit that I was in is having to go back to work for somebody else, because I was freelance for a whole year and 8 months, and it was the best life. Like I had had this huge consulting check that helped me carry like finances and whatever throughout 6 months and all this time that I got to do what I wanted to freely, but having to go back and work for someone else because those funds were running short and then jobs and gigs were not picking up as often as they were. Last year I lost my car, like so much stuff I had to start over, and then having to go back and do that, like the financial part is a bit, but it taught me a lesson about pride. Like I've been so independent my whole life. I started working when I was 14 and didn't ask anybody for anything and always a hustler, and then it just slowed down at that point in my life, but it taught me like not to be afraid to ask for help.
No, seriously.
No, that's true. That's my one of my pits too. Like I'm too independent sometimes. Like I forget that I have like a support system. Like I don't have to carry everything on my own. Like or I don't have to be like perfect all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like it's okay to be in your pit and to just own it.
Embrace it.
Right.
Yeah.
Agree.
I think the thing for me was like really learning balance, because it's like sometimes with me I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna do this from 9 to 5. This is my first time having a 9 to 5 in like freaking 3 years or 4 years, but I thought it was a good opportunity where I could really kind of create relationships. So kind of getting adjusted to the 9 to 5 versus like, you know, just being an entrepreneur full time, it was a huge adjustment. And I ain't gonna lie, for like 4 months I was getting like real complacent. I was tired. I was like, man, I can't really balance everything. But then had a dinner with my mentor. He was like, you mean to tell me somebody else is gonna profit more off your time and energy than you do each day? I said, fuck you, like let me get to work, let me go. And then I got back in the grind mode. So I realized, you know, it's all about a balance. Because if I didn't take this job, you know, it's been a blessing. I've been able to work Chris Brown's tour, the Big 3 tour, be out with them, and make relationships that can help what I really want to do. And I think,
traveling.
yeah, and it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing, man. On somebody else's dime, but once you
Yeah.
figure out that balance, and like you said, bro, removing that pride and kind of that fear, it's like, you know what, it's all gonna work out. So now I'm reading the job like, oh, this how this helped this over here.
Yeah.
And now with that balance versus me being so caught up in just this little detail, then I can kind of see the bigger picture now, if that makes sense.
Right.
So yeah.
I agree with you because I had to find balance in itself. Because like I have 2 jobs. So like I literally work from 9 to 2 and 3 days a week from 10 p.m. to 6 in the morning. So I had to like, both jobs are really, really good, but I had to figure out like I need time to work on everything I need for myself. So when I'm working from 10 to 6 in the morning, I'm getting everything done, which is like, it's a blessing at the same, even though the hours is crazy, I do be tired. But if I wasn't there, to be honest, I'll be at home sleep and not getting anything done. So it's like, it kind of pushes me to
You have
get,
to work the next day
exactly.
harder.
So like it pushes me because I'm sitting here from 10 to 6, I should be having everything done right now.
Right. No,
So
yeah.
that helped a lot.
Because I was gonna ask, like, you know, how do you guys get past these obstacles or these pits when you're there? But it's like listening to everybody's, you know, perspectives. It seems that you guys embrace it and like you guys use it as momentum to keep pushing you forward rather than, you know, stopping, you know, while you're ahead or, you know, in that situation. But like, what would you guys?
You kind of gotta know that there's people like us, like all around.
Yeah.
So, in order to have winning teams, and in order to have yourself win, you gotta have a team around you that's winning too. So you gotta help them people, and that also helps you. Like the reflection.
Yeah.
Because really, a lot of times when you're talking to people, sometimes you're talking to yourself. You're talking about yourself.
Yeah. That's
Because when you relate to it more, and you relate to it deeper, then you're like, all right, well, cool. My obstacles is yours.
Right.
So I see what we need to do now. I see this is like we're gonna help each other out because most people forget that you need the help. You know, a lot of us are self-proficient and we're just like, all right, we're gonna do everything on our own. We want to learn everything on our own.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta let that person take care of it. If that's what they do and you need it, let them do that. Let a person that studied this, that went to school for it, that did whatever to get this degree and to make money and to make this field, like to make it in this field and be rich. They went through all that. So don't shortchange them. Don't shortchange people around you because they're also going to create obstacles for themselves as well as for you. You're going to do that for yourself too all the time.
Yeah, because it's like working smart, not hard.
Exactly.
And then it's like a lot of times when I find myself in a pit, I try to like have a perspective to where it's like, Nicole, this ain't your first time being in the pit. So you know there's more pits ahead. So just